Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we're doing the what's next on the reigning WBO Cruiserweight Champion of the world, Billiam-Smith, following his revenge victory over Richard Riakporhe from their 2019 fight that Riakporhe had won by a close 10-round split decision. Now, before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So, Billiam-Smith just had a good game plan and really only allowed Riakporhe to throw one punch at a time. And Riakporhe, strong fighter, would land a big shot, and then Billiam-Smith would just respond with 2 or 3. And it really was that kind of a fight. The style that he fought, he didn't go in and go toe-to-toe, but he was counter-punching and using the lateral movements a little bit, and it was just a good, sound game plan, and Billiam-Smith boxed very well and outworked Riakporhe, handing Riakporhe his first loss as he retained the WBO Cruiserweight title. So now the big question is, what's next for Billiam-Smith following this big-time victory? Well, that was his mandatory title defense right there against Riakporhe. That was a mandatory fight right there. So he got his mandatory out of the way, which is a big deal, you know. Now, what does he do? So we'll run through the top 10 and see what possible options are out there and see what he plans on doing. We start with the IBF, the once again undefeated 2-time IBF Cruiserweight World Champion, Jai Opetaia. Well, Opetaia wants to fight, but Billiam-Smith, I think that's his second option, but Billiam-Smith said he'd rather go to Vegas, and that means Gilberto Ramirez. But I think Jai Opetaia might be the second option, and it might be the more lucrative option, because I think Saudi Arabia is probably going to come to the table and be like, hey, let's get this fight on the Fury Usyk 2 undercard, and you guys go at it to unify belts. If they do that, they're going to pay a shitload of money to Billiam-Smith, and he might look that direction. So I think Opetaia is his second option, but I think he might go after that fight. And it could even be as early as October on the Bivol Beterbiev undercard. So I really do believe that this fight has some legs to it. I think he prefers Gilberto Ramirez, but I think Opetaia might end up being a more lucrative offer for him. So we'll see what goes down. Then you got WBC champion Noel Gabor, or Mikhailian, whatever you want to call him. I don't think this one's going to happen. Mikhailian, I think, is in mandatory mode, and I just don't think he's a big enough name option for for Billiam-Smith, as Billiam-Smith really is rolling right now as the WBO champion. So I don't see this one being possible. Then you got former champion Mairis Briedis. Good matchup right here. I really think these two guys, it would be a good battle. And if Billiam-Smith, if he can't land a unification bout right here, I think Briedis would be a great option for him, because Briedis has been there, done that. He's he's a game veteran. He's been around a long time, and he's a former 3-time world champion. And I really believe that that Briedis would still give him a hell of a battle even now. So I could see these two guys locking horns for the WBO title. It's a belt that Briedis has held before. So I really do believe that that if Briedis continues his career and Billiam-Smith can't land those two, the unification bouts, why not do Mairis Briedis, fight him instead? Then you got Badou Jack, interesting option, but I don't think Jack would fight him. I think Jack wants to only fight big-name fighters. He's a champion in recess. Who knows what he wants to do, because he kind of surprises everybody out of nowhere. I guess it could be an option, but I'm leaning towards the less likely, and I think Billiam-Smith wants a unification bout anyways. Then you got, let me see, Richard Riakporhe in a third fight. There really isn't a need for that. I thought Billiam-Smith beat him soundly. If there's no other options, maybe Billiam-Smith might fight him again, but I really don't think it was an exciting enough fight to warrant a third matchup. So, and their first fight was 5 years ago. So I just don't think this one warrants a third fight, a rubber match. You got a rematch with Lawrence Okolie, but Okolie is making his move to Bridgerweight, so there's no need for a rematch. Okolie had his chance to rematch Billiam-Smith last year. He didn't cash in on it. Billiam-Smith is not going to go back down that road because really Okolie hasn't done anything since then to warrant a rematch anyways. And as I said, he's making his jump to cruiserweight, to Bridgerweight next. Then you got Junior Dorticos. Dorticos is the #1 ranked contender in the WBA right now. And he's going to be attempting to cash in on that mandatory, I think, or just take step-aside stuff. But, I mean, if Billiam-Smith were to offer him the fight, I think he might go for it if Ramirez isn't available. But I really believe that Billiam-Smith, there's like 3 or 4 other better options for him before he would take on a power-punching, even though he's a former champ, Junior Dorticos. Then there's Gilberto Ramirez, the WBA champion. This is the most likely option right here. Ramirez is coming off of the win over Arsen Goulamirian to capture the WBA belt. This is what Billiam-Smith said. He wants to go to Vegas and fight Gilberto Ramirez. I really think this is the fight that's going to happen. I think there's a couple things that need to fall in place. One, the WBA has to allow Ramirez to do this, which means possibly Junior Dorticos, taking step-aside money again. If that is not the next fight for Ramirez, I think it's a smooth path for Ramirez and Billiam-Smith to unify belts. But if they order that fight, I don't think this fight obviously is going to happen. So I'm going to say I think there's a very good chance Ramirez and Billiam-Smith happens next. Then you got Mateusz Masternak in a rematch. Masternak, I think at some point, if Masternak builds himself back up, it's a fight that Billiam-Smith should take, but I don't think he will. Not now. Well, at least not next. He's not going to take this fight. So I'm going to say no to that one. And then any other guy, out there, I don't see Rosicki. Mikhail Cieslak, I don't see that one unless he's kind of desperate and he can't find anybody else. And then some of the other guys, Joe Smith Jr. maybe because he's got a name if he can't find nothing else. But I really believe Billiam-Smith should only really consider 3 options. And the first one is the showdown. Well, I prefer him to fight Jai Opetaia, but I don't care if he fights Opetaia or Ramirez in a unification bout. I think either one. I think the more likely for Billiam-Smith from what he wants is Ramirez, but I also think Opetaia is a good option. And then after that would be like a Maris Bradis or a Badu Jack if available. I think just to take on a bigger name and a guy that that would sell. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see what goes down for Chris Billiam-Smith following that win. So that's it. That's what I got. That's my what's next on the reigning WBO Cruiserweight Champion of the world, Chris Billiam-Smith, following his decision victory over his unanimous decision victory over Richard Riakporhe in their rematch as he retained the WBO Cruiserweight title. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.